What's up, podcast? Before we start today's episode, I just want to make sure that you guys are following and subscribing all of our content at svaofamerica.com/AssistanceHQ. There you can find all of the latest and greatest content, podcasts, articles, and so much more. The link's going to be in the description, so make sure you don't ever miss a piece of content. It's a whole lot of assistance going on. And now, a moment from our sponsor.
What's going on, podcast? Welcome back to another episode of The Ramblings. We have been growing at such an exponential rate. The last podcast is actually doing phenomenal. Shout out to Corshey and Course Closet for being a wonderful co-host. This week, we have I am so jumbled because I'm so excited. Listen, guys. This week, we have an amazing week of podcasts. I'm finally going to be releasing the podcast that I did with William Schultz. Shout out to him. Such an amazing time. So today is like a week in review, what we've got going on next week, what we did last week, and how the company is really starting to move and strive because a lot of things are starting to play. And I feel like the second half of the year, this is going to be a big jump for us. This big jump. This is a huge thing for us. So what did we do last week? Let's start right there. Last week we were able to we already talked about getting another client. We didn't officially sign off on the papers yet, but we did collect a deposit. We're testing our works. We're getting a lot of content out. We are making moves. Things are starting to move fast. We have made our largest client to date so far, and the podcast is doing relatively well. The lives are starting to get better. So we can start visibly seeing the progress. We're starting to possibly get a team together, bringing on Juan and even Ben Hester. Ben had a wonderful co-host the other day and was able to give a 4-part episode. So we have a 4-part episode coming. So be on the lookout for that. I promise you it's going to bring great value. A 4-part episode podcast. It's going to take you 4 days because it's such value in that. I guarantee it. You guys are going to love the series. I think I'm going to start doing that more, start trying to get longer episodes and breaking them up so you guys can start having parts and series of it. So we can start making headways for when I start doing my kitchen keynotes and you guys have the attention span to be like, okay, you're about to go on and talk for like an hour. I'm about to listen to him for this whole hour. So that's really what I'm doing. I just ran a Facebook boost ad and it's doing pretty well. It's 1,200 people have seen it so far. We're only at like a 79% per click rate, so I would love to cut that like in half, basically. So maybe use a better visual, better creative ad. So we're excited on getting things of that nature going. I've been posting on YouTube, so excited about the new social media approach because I had no idea and was feeling like, what kind of content would I create? Like, for you guys to get the most value out of what I'm saying or what I'm doing, I have to continue to every day be able to bring new information, new everything. So how am I going to continue to keep you guys interested? And it really dawned on me that a lot of people still struggle with the concept of what a virtual assistant is. So my new goal, my new awareness strategy for social media is going to be education. My goal is to educate you guys on what a virtual assistant does, how a virtual assistant works, and how a virtual assistant can help and work for you. Because it seems to be that a lot of people are confused on not only the payments, but how they can help. Because why would I not just hire a regular assistant? Or if I can't afford a regular assistant at $13 an hour, what makes you think I can afford you at $29 an hour? So there's a lot of different variables and everything that play into something like that. I'm finally officially diving into Flip Life now. I'm going to be posting all of the, not all, but what I can on all of these different buy, exchange, best sell, trade website things, apps like, Let Go, OfferUp, Poshmark, those things. I think Poshmark I found out is strictly for clothes. So that's new. But eBay, the normal things. So we're really moving into the Flip Life challenge and really trying to get this going a lot. New schedule. This new schedule I have is absolutely working. I know I've said it before, but I promise you this new schedule where I'm getting up at 5:45 and I have everything planned out, the way the schedule is going is fluid and it's working. I just really have to let you guys know because I'm probably going to think about posting it, but It's a great, like, if you guys want to use the schedule, just use the hashtag Let's Ramble, shout me out, let me know what you guys are thinking, any of that nature. Just use hashtag Let's Ramble and we can communicate over this blog about this podcasting. So I love talking with my people. So any social media, hashtag Let's Ramble. I have a new ideology, a new thought, and it's why celebrities, rich people, and wealthy people know each other. Outside of the fact that obviously you're going to know people within your community because word travels, but also on the fact of this. If you look at the, how would I put it, the census of where these wealthy and rich people are coming from, right? If you were to be able to geographically on a map put the dots of where they come from, you would find that in a lot of areas they are centralized in places like Atlanta, Los Angeles, New York, things of that nature. Why is that? Why do these rappers all know each other? Why do these tech people all know each other? Why do these CEOs all know each other? And the reason is because simply they grew up around each other. If you think of Russell Westbrook and James Harden, who both grew up relatively within a short vicinity of each other, they knew of each other. So if you play ball and you're nice, you're going to know other people that play basketball and that are nice. If you are a tech company and you're just starting out, right, and you are trying to get your name out there, you are struggling and striving to push your name out there, you are at some point going to run into somebody else who is also struggling, striving, and trying to get their name out there. And you're going to connect on the basis of we are both on the same mission. However, we each have our own companies. So therefore, we aren't doing the same things. So I just really had the thought of that. The reason a lot of people come from the same area, so why wealthy people come from wealthy areas like Palo Alto, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, and why rappers all know each other and coming out of the same area like Atlanta, New York, Chicago, Los Angeles. And the reason is because they actually know each other. When you're actually putting in the work, you meet other people who are putting in the work. That's why they don't know the people that haven't been on, because they're not putting in enough work for you to know me. If you are trying to be an entrepreneur, a rapper, a business owner, whatever, and other people don't know you, you are not going to get money because no one's going to purchase something from somebody that they don't know. So nobody also has no competition. So if you are pushing your business or your word or your product out there hard enough, you are then going to run into competition. And these are your competition. When you're an artist, it's not necessarily competition. You just talk about, everybody being able to get it. But when you're in business, this is directly your competition. If you are a small mom and pop deli shop, chances are the owner of the local franchise Subway. Why? Because they are directly your competition. You want to know what is Subway doing so you can beat Subway, and vice versa. And just like any other mom and pop shops, any other corner stores, it's the same concept. And that's how all of these people know each other. And that's how all of these people also continue to make it. Where are the most people emerge from where other people emerge from? Because there's the inspiration of people being able to see it. Who do you know from Nebraska that's famous? Who do you know from Los Angeles that's famous? What's the difference? There's a trend. More people that are being famous, the more people there that are looking to aspire to do that, have a path, have a vision, have something to stand on. Like, oh, this particular artist is from Milwaukee versus an artist, hey, this particular artist is from New York. A lot of hot rappers are coming out of New York. Why? Because other hot rappers come out of New York. So they're like, yo, I could do that too. When you're the only person and the first person, it's always the hardest. It's always the hardest to be the first or the only person currently doing something. Like if there were no rappers in Nebraska, think of how many people in Nebraska listen to rap music, meaning your immediate support of locality, your immediate local support goes out the window because it's not part of your core demographic audience. You now have to look elsewhere, which costs resources and money. So it really is important to understand that concept. That's why people move to Los Angeles and Chicago and all of these other places, because I'm more likely to get a look because other people have done this. Other people are looking to do this. It gives them a drive. People see them taking a change. So if you're playing basketball and you're in Chicago, or you're a rapper from Atlanta, you see other basketball players and other rappers actually make it and do X, Y, and Z things and have a long process and what that is. So it's an inspiration. You don't have that necessarily when other people from your area have not made it. However, you have a different influence of what they have done to make it or make their dreams come true. So if you lived in the suburbs, you probably know a lot of people that may have started businesses because that's what's going on over there. You're not walking to the park. You have to go have your parents drive you to the gym. It's a completely different outlook upbringing. So you know a completely different group and set of people. So what I would particularly like to say is if you don't know anybody in your industry, if you have not connected with another person that at least does what you do, then you aren't going hard enough and that you aren't pushing yourself to the max limits, because there's no reason that you should not have either ran into competition or someone that you can work with.
Hey Ramblers, before you go, make sure you're following us on social media at Assistance HQ across the board for all content and exclusives. And for an even more personal touch, subscribe to our weekly newsletter with the link in the description.